the two biggest issues right now with what's in food. Number one is refined sugar. And when you go to the store to buy sweetener, you can either buy something like stevia, which is from a plant, so it's completely natural. We always want to avoid the artificial sweeteners too. We want to avoid saccharin. We want to avoid aspartame, which is NutraSweet. We want to avoid Splenda. It actually has been studied to show that if you just eat a couple of packets of Splenda, you actually kill off about half of your microbiome in your digestive system. Yeah.
My. All right, everyone. So today we have Jason with us, and let's just get right into it. Jason, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, Nick, sure. Glad to be on. Thanks for having me. So I am a certified holistic health practitioner, hypnotherapist, and nutritionist. I've been practicing for a little over 20 years, and I help people heal from various health ailments by using natural methods.
I'm all for that, as you know. I partnered with my holistic health coach, I think about 2.5, 3 years ago now, and my life completely changed. It honestly did, just by like eating healthier, drinking healthy water, drinking enough water. That's important too. Exercising, and we've actually reduced the effects that cerebral palsy has on me, which is incredible. Because if you look up cerebral palsy, there is no cure for it. So they say, my health coach is on a mission to cure it 100% from me, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. I'm up and open for that. Like, let's go. So I love what you do, and I'm excited to hear your take on what you do.
Yeah, definitely. So, basically, most of my clients are pretty dire shape. So I'm a lot of times their last resort. They've seen a bunch of doctors. Doctors haven't been really able to help them. So either all their blood work comes back within range, and their doctors say, "Oh yeah, we can't tell what's wrong with you. We know something's wrong. We can't tell what's wrong with you," or they say, "Oh, it's all in your head. Take this." Go see a psychiatrist and a therapist and all this other stuff. And then other times they find something in the blood work that's a little abnormal, and they'll just give them a medication. And the medication will maybe help with some of their symptoms, but it won't, it'll never alleviate their condition. And then they'll have side effects, and they'll prescribe other medications on top of that to handle the side
Yep.
effects. So I take the approach of healing as everything has a cause. So it really doesn't matter what the symptoms are, whether you have a diagnosis, whether you don't have a diagnosis, several diagnoses. It's all about what's causing it, what is off balance in your body, and then addressing whatever the root cause is. And 9 times out of 10, it's some type of toxicity that's built up in the body. So whether that be from the food you're eating, the water you're drinking, the environment, electromagnetic frequencies from your computer, your cell phone, 5G towers, things like that. Sometimes it's a combination of those. So my job is to figure out what types of toxins are causing the issue, and it's about your body eventually not being able to eliminate those toxins because everything's building up. So it creates acidity in the body, and then it creates inflammation in the body. And so we've got to address the toxins, which in turn will help with helping to reduce the inflammation, helping to help with the pH balance of the body, and pretty much which of your organs are being affected. So it's kind of a multifaceted approach. It takes a little bit of time, but I always tell my clients and it takes me very short time to figure that out on a free consultation call, and then them signing up for the things that I help them with, giving them a customized, individualized healing plan. And as long as they follow it, I kind of give them an estimate of when they can expect to start feeling better and to be completely healed themselves. I don't heal anybody, of course. The client heals themselves. I just guide them, give them the tools they need.
I love what you're saying. Number one, we can talk medication a little bit. Um, my family and friends, they get irritated with me because I don't believe in medication.
Yeah.
I don't. There's no medication out there that says it cures anything. So
Right.
why would I take it? I just think it prolongs the problem and causes more problems down the road. So for me, I don't take medication. But luckily, my whole life, I've never really been on medication, except for like I had surgery and things like that, and when you're sick and whatnot. But over the last few years, nothing, and I feel a lot better. So I like to go about everything with well, how can I better myself? Or like, let's say I'm sick. How can I get better naturally? And I actually found a book. I can't remember what it's called, but it's got uh, 1,000 ancient recipes that you can make pretty much anything that would help you at home.
Hmm.
So you can make cough syrup and things to cure warts and rashes and lotions, like everything. So yeah, I'm all about that. And yeah, when you start eating healthier and drinking healthier water, because a lot of people don't know, but our water system, like in the cities, you shouldn't drink it. You just
Right.
should not drink that. So, bottled water, not good either, because it's got microplastics. So it's very hard to get good water. But once you do, you'll see how much more beneficial it is, and you'll feel a difference. For me, it was within the first, I think it's 10 days after drinking health water. I had like my pain because I have cerebral palsy. I was in pain every day my whole life. Within 10 days, my pain level got cut in half. And now it's rare. Like the pain that I have now is just from working out, which is normal. Like you're building muscle, but I don't have the joint pain anymore, and that's just huge. That changed my whole life.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a few types of depending on, what you can afford, there's a few different types of water you can drink. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, do you use it sounds like based on that, are you using a water ionizer?
Yep.
That's
The
what I thought. Yeah.
the Kangen
Yeah,
Enagic. Yep.
right.
Yep. That's what
Exactly.
I have.
Good, 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 good. Yeah,
Yep.
because the results you're talking about with just water, that makes sense that that would come from a water ionizer, like
Hmm.
Kangen, and there's other companies that make it too. But yeah, definitely, that's if you can afford that, that's the best way to go for sure.
Yep.
Second best way is drinking spring water in
Hmm.
either a glass bottle, or they have some of them like the brand Flow that makes them in a box,
Oh,
basically,
really?
so that it's not plastics.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's the second best way. If you can't do that, keep buying bottled water over and over again, or afford a water ionizer. The third best way is to get what's called a zero water filter pitcher. And the zero water, what it does is it eliminates every single organism in the water, every single particle. So, and it comes with a little gauge that tells you zero particles, right? And that's how
Hmm.
you know it's eliminating everything. Now, because it eliminates everything, it also eliminates the good minerals. So you do
Yep.
want to replace those with trace minerals, like a liquid trace mineral drop, and do
Hmm.
that to replace the minerals. So either way you want to go, those are the three best ways. But yeah, never drink tap water.
Hmm.
Never drink bottled water, like you mentioned, in plastic, because even if it's BPA free, it still has other microplastics in it. BPA is not the only one. So, and it gets heated right through processing, and
Hmm.
when it gets transferred from one facility to another, it's exposed to heat, and some of that plastic will leach into the water. So yeah, definitely don't want to do that either. But yeah, like you said, and like we talked about just now, water ionizer, if you can afford it, is the best way to go.
Yep. And a lot of people think that if they have well water, they're safe. oh, sorry, they spray the fields around your house with
Right.
chemicals, and that chemical goes right into your water system. So
Exactly. And
basically,
yeah,
wherever you are, you need to get something to purify and clean your water.
definitely. And you definitely, if you drink well water, you got to have it tested. You got to
Yep.
have it tested for all the particles, bacteria, cryptosporidium, fungus, things like that. And you also have to have it tested for heavy metals because a
Hmm.
lot of well water can have lead in it, can have mercury, can have arsenic, it can have cadmium. So you've got to get it tested. Yeah, you never know with well water.
Yeah, I have well water, and luckily mine is fairly clean from the start, but it does have metals in it, all that. So I have a big giant filter right out of the well, and then once it comes under the sink, it goes through four more filters, and then the Kangen water machine after that. So,
Sounds good to
yeah,
me. Yep.
yeah. So that's awesome. All right. So, what are some other things that people can do to help themselves?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, with when we're talking about foods, unfortunately, there is there is a plan which is being implemented now to, and has been for a long time, but it's getting worse, to put all kinds of chemicals in our food.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing we can do, if we can eat organic food. Now, organic, unfortunately, in the U.S. doesn't mean the same thing as it means in Europe.
Nope.
So Europe organic is a lot more clean and pure than the U.S. organic, but at least not most people can't afford to have everything shipped from Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can do here, at the very least, is things that you eat and drink should be organic, and it's better than nothing. It does make a difference. It doesn't make as much of a difference as we'd like it to make, but it definitely makes a difference of doing everything organic. And if we
Mm-hmm.
can't do it organic, at the very, very least, we got to do non-GMO,
Yep.
which is non-genetically modified organisms. So with GMOs, or genetically modified organisms, that is it's basically the original product that they have, whether it's a grain, whether it's a fruit, a vegetable, whatever it is, it has been altered.
Mm-hmm.
So once we consume it, our body doesn't know what to do with it. So all it does is build up in our system. It doesn't metabolize properly, it doesn't digest properly, and then it creates that inflammation. And then eventually it can cause those autoimmune illnesses that we all know about, or it can, or it can actually literally change the shape of our cells, which can contribute to things like cancer. So we've
Mm-hmm.
got to, at the very least, non-GMO, and whenever we can do organic, we're do organic. So organic is one step above non-GMO. It's non-GMO, but it also doesn't have any pesticides or herbicides.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that my health coach told me right away, he's like, if it doesn't grow, don't eat it. This episode is sponsored by Atopic AI for Opportunity. Atopic is an AI-powered opportunity discovery platform, and the best word that I can describe it is ChatGPT. But instead of giving you information, it gives you real people you should be connecting with. Whether you're looking for clients, partners, investors, job prospects, or high intent leads, Topic makes it simple. You just type what you're looking for, and the AI thinks through thousands of signals, and then surfaces verified prospects with context, not random lists. It even helps you follow up, nurture conversations, and track your pipeline. What I love about Atopic and why I'm excited to have them as a sponsor is that they're solving the biggest problem in business growth, finding the right people at the right time. If you haven't yet, go to atopic.com and try it. It's one of the smartest tools out there for people trying to grow their business.
Right. No processed foods. Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
So, and it's hard. It really is. And as someone who used to eat everything and anything, like I growing up, I didn't care. I was always skinny. didn't really have to worry about that, but now it's like, I see the difference. Like, I remember when this was probably last year, we went on basically kind of a carnivore diet, but we still had some vegetables in there. And one morning, I was like, I want toast and butter. I was craving it. That
Mhm.
was one of my favorite things to have growing up. I ate that. I felt like crap the whole rest of the day. Just
Yeah.
from 2 slices of toast and butter. Which the butter's fine, but it's the
Mhm.
toast that you don't want. So, and I wanna ask you, what are your thoughts on salt?
Salt?
Yeah,
Yeah, so salt is not the culprit. A lot of doctors say it is.
exactly.
Um, Now, when we do salt, though, we want to do sea salt.
Yep.
We don't want to do the refined salt. Now, whether it's Himalayan sea salt, whether it's black sea salt, Celtic sea salt, it doesn't really matter as long as it's sea salt and as long as you're getting it from a reputable company where you
Mhm.
know that the pollutants aren't still in there when they gather the salt. So you got to call the company, you got to get what's called a COA or certificate of analysis, and you've got to make sure that they filter out all those impurities in the salt when you get to it. But definitely sea salt. Sea salt is natural. It's got those naturally occurring minerals in it to help
Mhm.
raise the pH of the body, which is one thing we want to do, unless we have a rare condition where we're too alkaline. That's another whole other topic. But
Yep.
that's what you want to do. Yeah, no refined salt, no refined anything. But
Mhm.
so the salt that you see in the supermarket that says iodized salt, don't do that.
No.
That's been refined. I mean, they add iodine to it, so they sell it that way to say, oh, you need iodines because so we add iodine to the salt. But that's not the whole story. The whole story is that it's refined. Our
Mhm.
body doesn't really know what to do with it when it enters
Mhm.
our system. So when doctors and other people talk about raising blood pressure, that is all due to iodized salt. That is all due to refined salt.
Yep.
That can raise your blood pressure. Sea salt
Mhm.
will not do that. Any type of
Mhm.
sea salt because it does have those naturally occurring enzymes and those naturally occurring minerals that break down the salt properly and keep that what we call sodium potassium balance which is what we need to help maintain our blood pressure.
Yep. Almost every morning what I do is I drink a glass of water with salt in it. It's
Yeah,
the best way to get the day started. You just rehydrate yourself, keep your electrolytes up right away.
definitely. And it helps with resetting our metabolism as well, by the way, if you
Oh,
do
really?
sea salt.
Cool. I didn't know
Mhm.
that. And for the people listening, like, if you've never had a good salt, once you have a good salt, you won't want that other crap that you used to have. Like,
Yeah,
it tastes so much better
it
than
does.
anything else.
Definitely does. Yeah. So yeah, just nothing refined, everything natural, like you were talking about. So which kind of leads me to the two biggest issues right now with what's in food. Number one is refined sugar. We don't want to
Mhm.
do refined sugar ever as much as possible. We can do raw sugar. We can do raw honey. We can do raw agave. As long as it's raw, it still has those naturally occurring enzymes to help it break down. And if you're getting it from fruit or grains or vegetables or things like that, a lot of us don't want to eat grains, but that's another topic.
Mhm.
Then we uh, then we get the naturally occurring elements in those fruits and vegetables. They're not refined. The sugar in there is not refined. It's natural. So, and when you go to the store to buy sweetener, you can either buy something like stevia, which is from a plant, so it's completely natural. We always want to avoid the artificial sweeteners too. We want to
Mhm.
avoid saccharin. We want to avoid, aspartame, which is NutraSweet. We want to avoid Splenda. It actually has been studied to show that if you just eat a couple of packets of Splenda, you actually kill off about half of your microbiome in your
What?
digestive system.
Oh
Yeah,
my,
horrible.
that's
Um,
terrible.
it's horrible. Yeah, the artificial sweeteners do ungodly things to us, and
Yeah,
in different ways. But depending on which artificial sweetener it is, saccharin can build up in the cells and cause abnormal cells and lead to cancer. Whereas NutraSweet or saccharin can cause brain damage. It's been shown. Aspartame, by the way, which is the NutraSweet brand, is actually wood alcohol. So and then what they do with the Splenda or the sucralose is sugar contains 6 different atoms, right? So 3 of them make it sweet, 3 of them cause the carb intake. So what they do with sucralose or Splenda is they remove those 3 ones, the 3 atoms that make it give it carbs, right? So you still have the sweetness, but then they add chemicals. They add 3 chemically based atoms to it. So you have the sweetness, but the no carbs, but the chemically based is and it actually contains chlorine. The chemically based atoms contain chlorine
really?
with Splendor sucralose. So think of
Wow.
that. Um, so we want to do anything raw is okay. Raw sugar, raw honey, raw agave. Just make sure it's not refined, it's not cooked, and you'll be okay. Or like I said, if you want to do a sugar substitute, you can do things like stevia, or you can do allulose, which is a soluble fiber, which is not going to add carbs to you. It has what we call negative carbs because it has fiber. So allulose is okay too. Things like that. But yeah, and so that's one of the biggest culprits. It can cause all kinds of issues with your blood sugar, insulin resistance. Can build up in the pancreas. Pancreas all of a sudden can't work properly. That's when you can first develop insulin resistance, then pre-diabetes, and then diabetes. So that's why you want to avoid sugar, refined sugar. As far as the other thing, we people have heard a lot about this lately called seed oils. So these
Mhm.
are oils like canola oil, cottonseed oil, peanut oil, sunflower oil. So these oils have been cooked, they've been refined. Once that happens, I don't care what kind of oil it is, it turns rancid.
Mm.
So it's rancid. We're consuming it in potato chips or, whatever it is, nuts. So if you do something like nuts, make sure they're dry roasted, not oil roasted. Make sure there's no oil in it because it's all rancid. Eventually causes problems in the cells, abnormal
Mhm.
cells, which is going to cause either autoimmune conditions eventually, or because our body again can't process it, or it's going to cause things like cancer. Now what we can do is we can consume the virgin or the extra virgin oils. Those are fine because those are not refined. So the olive oil, especially olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, those are the coconut oil even, although we don't want to overdo it, but those are the naturally occurring oils that have not been refined. So make sure it says um, virgin or extra virgin. That's how you know you can consume those oils. But it can start with extra virgin or virgin in a snack, but they're going to cook the snack, right? So when they
Mm.
cook the snack, the oil gets cooked too, becomes rancid. Same thing
Yep.
when you cook, right? When you cook at home, use a little bit of coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, right? But don't overcook anything, and eat it right away so it doesn't give the chance for the oil to turn rancid. So those are the refined sugar and seed oils are really the two biggest issues right now.
Yep. Yes. And I, I do want to ask because I know you know yourself. Are all vegetables healthy?
In certain amounts, I would say, as long as they're natural and at least non-GMO, if not organic,
Hmm.
I would say all vegetables have their place.
Exactly.
However, we have to be careful with food sensitivities, right? So when you were talking about eating the toast and getting sick, it was probably from the gluten, right?
Yep.
So a lot of people have a gluten sensitivity because the wheat here is genetically modified.
Yep.
That makes the gluten bad. So even if it's organic, again, US organic doesn't mean the same thing as European organic. So if you
Hmm.
can if you can't eat organic bread here or organic pasta, you can go to Italy and you could probably eat organic bread and organic pasta, even though it has gluten in it.
Yeah.
So gluten is only an issue when it's GMO, and so
Mhm.
then it builds up in our system. So food sensitivity. So basically, if we're talking about things like tomatoes or potatoes or eggplant, okay, those are what we call in the tuber family. So they have what's called lectins in it, and a lot, which are specific proteins that a lot of us have trouble absorbing.
Mhm.
So we have to watch out for things with lectins. Dr. Gundry talks a lot about this, but not everybody's sensitive to them, but a lot of people are. He makes it sound like everybody's sensitive to them, which is not
Mhm.
true, but a lot of people are. So cashews, same thing. I mean, we're not meant to eat cashews, and never ever eat a raw cashew, by the way. In Latin
Really?
America,
What?
yeah. So a cashew is in the poison ivy family.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so what they do in Latin American countries is they remove the nut and they eat the fruit, the cashew fruit, because
Oh.
they know the nut is bad for you. It's in the
Mhm.
poison ivy family. So you so if you do eat cashews, make sure that it's a very limited amount, and make sure that they're dry roasted. Never ever ever eat raw cashews. That's one of the worst things you can do. And if
Yeah,
you do,
I suppose I probably never had a raw cashew, I guess.
yeah,
So,
and
you
a
know,
lot of
in a
people do
container.
because it tastes good.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't do that. And then if you eat, tomatoes or eggplants or potatoes, right? Anything that's in that tuber family, you got to cook it thoroughly before you eat it. And then watch out for sensitivities, because a lot of which another name for tuber is a nightshade. So a lot of people know it as in the nightshade family.
Mhm.
So anything in the nightshade family like that, keep an eye on when you eat it. If you have problems with your digestive system, break out in hives, things like that, a lot of
Yeah.
people do, and then you want to avoid that. So food sensitivities are becoming more and more prevalent because of the genetically modified organisms. But for the most part, if a vegetable is completely unadulterated, it's going to be safe to eat. Some
Mhm.
vegetables you want to cook, some you can eat raw. It just depends on the vegetable. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, you're saying that you should cook tomatoes?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, tomatoes should always be cooked.
They're way better raw.
Well, yeah, some people like raw better,
A
but yeah,
tomato with salt on it is so good.
I know that can
Alright,
kind
'cause
of be
I had
difficult.
never heard that before. So that kinda took me off guard. I'm like, "Really? I've never
Absolutely.
heard that." Huh.
Yeah,
That's really
absolutely.
good to know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So there's those little, tidbits of information, but there's a lot to it. Every type of food we can imagine, that's fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, seeds, things like that. Some of them can be eaten raw, and some of them you should always cook.
Okay,
So it just depends on what it is.
awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And for the listeners out there, how can they work with you to help themselves, help become healthier, maybe help them with cancer or another disease that they're dealing with? How can they reach out to you?
Yeah, definitely. And I have to give a disclaimer there. I don't treat, prevent, cure any illness.
Yeah.
If you tell me you have an illness, I go by what you say. I
Mhm.
can't mention specific illnesses to clients. So I just come from a help healing at the source standpoint. But yeah, anybody that wants to get a hold of me, they can just go to my website, which is heal.com. So it's threeheals.com, HEAL. So HEAL.com.
I like that.
All my info is on there.
Okay, awesome. And I'll drop that in the description below.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes. And
Awesome. So I've got one more question for you.
Yeah.
So my slogan is your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you?
Your abilities are infinite. Well, it means that people think that they are limited on what they can do. And it's just getting into the right mindset, which, by the way, I help people with hypnotherapy with that part of it. But it's getting into the right mindset to believe that you have the ability to do anything and everything that you want to do. And once you know you can do that, then you become unlimited. And the problem is people think that people are limited because they think they're limited, and they don't have the right mindset, or they have health issues they feel like they can't overcome, things like that. So I can help them from a physical standpoint with the holistic health part, the right supplements, detox methods, foods, all that kind of stuff, and with the hypnotherapy part or the hypnosis part with the mental aspect as well, because they definitely go together, mind, body, spirit, it's all connected.
Yeah, yeah. I love that you do hypnotherapy also because a lot of our problems are just in our head, and we create things in our body that happen when your mind is a powerful thing, and if you think you have something, you might not have it at that time, but you're probably gonna get it. So yeah,
Absolutely.
so I like that you do it a lot.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I like to help people any way that I can. And I want their heal once they heal themselves, I want it to be permanent. I don't want anything
Yeah,
to come back. So
yep,
that's why I address the mental aspect too, because they can heal themselves physically, but if the mindset is still the same, they're gonna get sick again. It's just the way it
yep,
goes.
yep,
Yeah.
exactly. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, that's been really awesome. I learned a lot. You know, I've been studying holistic health for years now, and I'm still learning. You know, there's always more that you can
There's
learn. So
always more to learn. Even I'm still learning every day.
yeah,
I mean, new science comes out on different things for different conditions, and I mean, I'm always on top of it. So
good, good.
so yeah.
Thank you for the work that you do because it is so important. And I love seeing how many more people are starting to live the holistic way because we know it's the best way to live. Once you try it for a month, you'll see the results. Like, just take care of your body. You only get one. Don't waste it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Once you do it for a long enough, it becomes just like anything else, it becomes a habit
Yep,
at some point. It's just that those first, that first month or so, we in the hypnosis space say 21 days, but
yep,
it varies a little bit from person to person, but we'll say safely the first month it'll become a habit. Yeah.
yep. Yeah, I might. I think I'm gonna work with you on the hypnosis part because that's something because I still don't eat the best. You know, I'm not perfect, and I know that it's in my head. You know, and if I could break through that, it wouldn't be a problem.
Absolutely. And and I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. That's just the way it is. But if you can eat healthily vast majority of the time, then you can get away with those other times. Don't eat foods you're sensitive to or allergic to,
Yep.
obviously, but you can get away with those junk foods every once in a while. I don't believe in anybody to be perfect and eat well
No.
all the time. Plus, I mean, you're miserable if you deprive yourself. So
Yep. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah. Well, Jason, that's been really good. So thank you again.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit. Because the only way that I can grow this, but you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth, help more people. All right, everyone. Remember, your abilities are infinite.